It's glad to have you this evening, distinguished. Thank you for your time.
It's my pleasure to be with you, Messi.
Okay, so speculations have arose about the potential alliance of the People Democratic Party and the PDP, according to a widely publicized breakfast meeting recently in Adamawa State, to come together to form an alliance against the potential APC coming on the ballot come 2027 and preventing the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Speak to us about this development.
I'm not really aware that the PDP as a political party is actually working an alliance between it and the Labour Party. What I do know is that very serious, critical members of the PDP and the Labour Party have been talking at the level of the individual. I'm not aware that a meeting of the PDP, as it is today, and the Labour Party has held. And so the breakfast meeting that you were talking about, for instance, was a breakfast meeting between the presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2023 general elections, His Excellency Alhaji ATIKU Abubakar, and His Excellency Peter Obi, who was the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election. And I do not also want to ascribe to the notion that coming together of individuals is essentially for the purpose of preventing the re-election of His Excellency President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. I think that politics is a process, and there are very many political parties and very many individuals. Sometimes individuals with their own individual ambitions. And so I'm not a student of the school of alliances for the purpose of dislodging individuals from positions of authority. I believe that if alliances occur, they should be anchored on what can be done for the people, what can be done differently from what is happening now for the people. I think that is what alliances should be, and not an alliance or alliances for the sole purpose of preventing the ruling party from forming the next government.
Okay, now you talked about individual interaction. You're not aware of such thing, but somehow you've heard or maybe you've come across individual interaction in that regard. And it's an individual interaction. The individual interaction, let's assume it gets to mature. Will your party, as a core member of the PDP, will your party accept any alliance, whether with the Labour Party or any opposition party?
If alliances come and people agree, alliances can metamorphose into single political organizations, yes. Well, let me tell you what I mean by individuals interacting for the purpose of maybe engendering some form of alliance. Because the PDP has a structure, and the Labour Party has a structure. They have national executive committees of the party. They have national working committees of the parties. They have BOT of the parties. They have national caucus of the party. At all levels of the party, there are structures. And so if, in the strict sense of it, we're talking about these political parties forming alliances to come together, then the meeting for alliances must be taking place between the structures of the two political parties. But in this particular instance, that is not what is happening. What is happening is people with interests, either of the party or of themselves or the nation, are trying to talk, to come to common understanding as to the way forward after the disastrous presidential outing of these other parties in the 2023 election. I think that is what is happening now. If you ask me, I take exception for the level of agitation that is ongoing for the purpose of forming alliances in order to prevent APC from forming the next government. I say this against the backdrop of what is going on in Nigeria now. Between me and you, Mercy, you know that Nigerians are hurting.
Exactly. Things are not.
And that is because these alliances were hurriedly put together, sometimes characterized by strange bedfellows, without any common bond of unity of purpose, without any common ideological drive, the basis of which policies of government can be formulated. And so what are we seeing here now? Incoherent policies in the name of reforms, and age-long axiom that reforms come with hardships and all that. And so I insist that the PDP is a formidable brand. We may have suffered some electoral setbacks in recent elections, but the PDP still remains a very strong political party in Nigeria. Nobody can take that away from PDP. When you talk in terms of spread of political parties, you talk in terms of the national outlook of political parties. In every segment of Nigeria, you have PDP. So PDP is a formidable, very serious brand that if you leave me, I will not accept any political arrangement that will take away the name of PDP. Because it is PDP that Nigerians know.
All right, you stated just now that things are not looking good regarding or looking at some policies that are being taken under this administration. But now the question is, what is the intention of your political party come 2027? I believe you want to get on the ballot come 2027. So if this alliance would, in a way, help bringing you to the ballot, looking at all that is happening in your political party, that's the PDP, do you think is something your party should buy into? Should your party accept it, well, at least to bring them back to ballot or bring them to the ballot come 2027?
We have always been on the ballot. PDP has always been on the ballot.
Yes, but 2027 is another
PDP has not won election. It's not to say that it is not on the ballot. Because let me tell you, for 16 solid years, that is for 3 terms of 4 years, PDP, 4 terms of 3 years, of 4 years, PDP has been in the saddle. That is, we are out there. And so, for some reason, PDP lost the election. And that is why we are where we are now. So, and PDP has just lost the election and stayed out of power just for the past 10 years or so. So, what is the brouhaha about whether PDP is in the dissent? Of course, PDP has some level of crisis right now. But that is not a unique situation for PDP. Other political parties have their own fair share of crisis here and there. As I'm talking to you now, the national chairman of the APC is in court for various reasons. For reasons of corruption and for reasons of unacceptability. The Labour Party has been in and out of court as a result of the crisis of leadership. So we have our own fair share of the crisis that is normally becoming the norm of political party organization and management. So I believe very sincerely that, like they say, out of the ashes of war comes peace. I believe that coming out of the crisis in which the PDP is enmeshed now, we'll be stronger.
You come out stronger.
We'll come out stronger. Looking at the scenario in Nigeria today, where Nigerians are hurting so badly, I still want to believe that in no distant time, Nigerians will be able to separate the men from the boys. Nigerians will be able now to say, hey, PDP had been in power for this much. This is the situation in which we found ourselves in when PDP was in power. Today, the APC has been in power. This is the situation in which we found ourselves. That is why I say, by a bipartisan, deliberate policy, let us support the APC. Because that is the government in power now. That is the government that is given the mandate to churn out policies that will affect the lives of our people. Not to support it to arrive at the destination certainly is not an option.
But Senator, you initially said things are not looking good.
Yeah.
Because of certain policies that are being taken by this administration. But then you just said now that this administration should be given huge support for these reforms to take place. But
no. You are getting me wrong. I say this government should be supported to execute the policies that are on the table. Those policies are benefiting Nigerians, and there are very serious moves to remedy the situation. That's what I mean.
But these policies do not look
at the
realistic.
moment. Just a moment. At the moment, you know that only recently the federal government introduced the tax reform bill. And Nigerians say, hey, not good enough. And the National Assembly is doing everything possible to ensure that the newly introduced tax bills are adjusted sufficiently to suit the purpose of Nigeria. That's the kind of support that I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm not talking about supporting policies that hurt Nigerians. I never definitely support that type of arrangement. But I support an arrangement where, from the position of another party that is not in power, we should be able to point out, based on the inputs we get from our constituencies, be able to point out to the federal government that, hey, look, this one we are doing is hurting the people. Let's adjust it this way. Let's tinker with it this way, and the rest of them. That is exactly the process that we're in now. And that is the kind of support that I say we should give to the government.
All right, as your party, because you already mentioned, and I was even going to ask, as a core member of the PDP, we are seeing so many drama going on in your party. To some people, there is crisis. And to some people, a lot of people have come out to say, PDP is not having crisis. PDP is still very much united. But with all that we see that is happening in your political party, is PDP in crisis or not?
PDP certainly is in crisis. I don't want to take that away from anybody. It's not in crisis. It's just being economical with the truth.
Okay.
At the national level, for instance, people have come out to say the acting national chairman should have since vacated office. But he's not going. So it is those who want the acting national chairman to leave the office versus those who want him to stay.
Okay.
So definitely.
But what does the constitution of your party say about?
Some level of crisis there. The constitution of our party is very clear.
Okay.
According to section 35(3)(c) of our constitution, in the absence of the chairman, the deputy chairman from the zone from where the chairman emanates from takes over in acting capacity.
Okay.
That's section 35(3)(c). Section 47(6) states that in the case of vacancy in national chairmanship of the party, the neck of the party meets to select someone from that zone to act out the remaining portion of the tenure of the chairman. So this is where some form of contradiction arises. Even though the same section 35(3)(c) states that in all this, it is without prejudice to the provisions of section 47(6). So here we are. Either way, there is some form of legitimacy. Either you are using section 35(3)(c) or you are using section 47(6), it's all within the ambit of the constitution of the PDP. So what the people of North Central are saying, and which I share with them, is that positions have been zoned to various states, and the national chairman of the party was occupied by somebody from Benue State. And therefore, somebody from Benue State should come out and act out the remaining part of the decision. Right. But some other people are saying, look, the Constitution says in the absence of the chairman, the deputy chairman from that zone where the chairman comes from should act out the period, which is Damagun is doing now. So what we're trying to do, or what some of us are advising our party to do, is let's be careful. Because we have a huge challenge of contesting national election before us. We have a huge challenge of putting everything in place to return to power, to salvage the situation for Nigerians. We cannot afford too much bickering. We cannot afford too much division. And so we're trying to work it out. We're following the steps all the way. And hopefully, between now and the end of 2025, where the tenure of this current National Working Committee will be over, if we are able to navigate the political terrain, to put a new chairman from Benue State or from North Central Zone to the acceptance of all, fine. If, on the other hand, we are unable to achieve that and we muster enough commitment by allowing the current acting chairman and the NWC to act out the period, it's still the same. It's a win-win situation. The PDP does not lose, members do not lose. And so that is what some of us are trying to propagate, such that it is like the snake entering the pot. Our people say, if you don't kill the snake slowly and carefully, you will break the pot. And even sometimes you break the pot, you don't kill the snake. And so this is the situation in which we find ourselves now, and we want to go about it very carefully, such that we do not throw away the baby with the bathwater.
Okay. Now, you said it's a win-win situation, whether the acting chairman remains or till the next election. But some people who want Damagun out of the way perceived him to be working for the FCT minister, NYESOME WIKE. So to so many people, or to some members of your party, this is not acceptable. Do you feel the same way? And is it a thing of worry for you?
Well, that scenario is not about whether I feel that way or not. It's a reality on ground. And I believe sincerely that even those who are laying these fingers of accusation know too well that in life we choose friends. I can force Damagun on who be his friend. And I will not expect Damagun, because he's the national chairman of the party, therefore he should not be friends with whoever he chooses to be. I think that what we will encourage Damagun to do is to be a little professional about his attitude to party management, so that he does not give away the soul of the party on a platter of gold. I am not a fan of hegemony, and I will not accept any situation within PDP where only one man dictates the pace. The PDP has a slogan of power to the people. And the implication of that is that power flows from bottom up, from the people. And as a Christian that you are, you know that in the purpose of God, no person is too small. And so we must treat ourselves as equals in this enterprise. We must learn to come down from our high horses in the interest of the party, in the interest of the country. If Damagun, for whatever reason, for whatever legal encumbrances and rest of them, stays until the end of this tenure next year, the party would outlive Damagun. So it is our responsibility at this moment to choose which way to go. Insist on a fixated position and engender further crisis in the party. Or accept to tolerate a situation that you cannot change at the moment without breaking the system. Because as it is now, Damagun has gone to court, he has collected some court injunctions by his surrogates. So, if you don't take time and you do anything and install some structures in spite of the existing or subsisting court injunctions, you may be taken to have broken the law. Don't forget that it has happened in several states in Nigeria, where as a result of improper conduct of party affairs, candidates that have been produced by the parties in elections, who won elections, have had the elections overturned at the courts. And that is what PDP should be very careful with.
Okay. It's quite a very complex situation in your party. Yeah. But then, looking at what has, like you rightly said, every political party has its own internal or external crisis, but we can agree that that of PDP blown over the roof and skyrocketed since after the 2023 general election. And now the FCT minister, NYESOME, is a member of the PDP, but working for APC. On several occasions, he has come out in public and given where he has said that he's going to make it very hot for ATIKU Abubakar, and now this situation is pro-WIKE and pro-ATIKU. But so those who feel that Damagun should drop because he's working for FCT minister, do you think their fear is valid?
I say that I found it completely anachronistic for a member of a political party to work for another political party and still retain 100% commitment and loyalty to his mother party. I wouldn't take it. So it is either you are here or you are there. I don't believe in the current scenario where they say somebody is working for a political party. You are promoting the program, the manifesto of that political party. And by doing so, you are saying that that party is working. Let me tell you, NYESOME is FCT minister. Whatever achievements that he records today as FCT minister will be attributed to the APC government. And I found it morally reprehensible for WIKE to come out tomorrow, hypothetically, make him the presidential candidate of the PDP. Will WIKE have the moral rectitude to stand up and say APC has not done well? Because he's been part of that government. So I think that those who fear that WIKE, PDP member working for APC government, will compromise our integrity are genuinely feeling so. You know, are genuinely feeling so. Because, like our people say, the water that you don't drink, you don't use it to wash your face. Because whether you like it or not, the water will drip into your mouth. So I agree completely with the fears of those people who say that WIKE's participation in the government, or any other person for that matter that participates in the APC government at whatever level, certainly will compromise the effectiveness of the PDP at that level.
Okay, now in your own view, as a core member of the party and as a leader in the national level, what is your take, or would you support? Are you in support of Damagun as completing the tenure, or he should step down?
Well, I've told you before, the situation is not about what I feel.
But which do you feel is best for your party?
The reality on ground. You know, the reality on ground. I have just explained the position of our constitution. Section 35 versus Section 47. Whichever one that applies is correct by our constitution. So if we have a constitutional order on the ground now, and you are saying, do you support it to continue or not? It's like asking whether I want to destroy or I want to build. So if in the end, the relevant organs of the party are persuaded enough to change the status quo as it is, so be it, the party moves on. But like I said a few minutes ago, if Damagum refuses to go and the plethora of injunctions or orders he gets from court are in place, you can force him out. So he stays. After all, what we are talking about now is less than 12 months away. And between December 2025 and February, March 2027, we have 12 clear calendar months within which to elect new officials of the party, galvanize the party, and prepare for the 2027 general election.
Well, that's interesting. At least there's still some sort of hope before the 2027. But then the FCT minister NYESOME WIKE, is he still a core member of the party? Or do you? He is, of course. He hasn't sent any resignation. But do you see him still being a member of this political party, of your political party, come 2027 election? Because he came out publicly and said that he will make it very difficult for ATIKU to come on the ballot in 2027. So knowing that both parties, the APC and the PDP as well, are strong pillars and potential political parties, what is the fate of a PDP come 2027?
PDP will strive to win the election in 2027.
Regardless of
I can tell you that PDP is not about an individual.
To be a thorn on the flesh.
I've said it before that the PDP is too large to be synonymous with one person. So each time people talk about PDP in terms of ATIKU, in terms of WIKE, it amuses me because PDP is a party that has membership across Nigeria. No nooks and crannies of Nigeria. You have PDP members. These people that we are talking about are just leaders of the party. And leaders are leaders to the extent that followers agree that they are leaders. And so, yes, I agree with you that given the circumstances in which we find ourselves, many people are attributing the misfortunes of PDP on WIKE. Understandably so, because in the run-up to the 2023 election, WIKE insisted that he would not support ATIKU. He didn't, and pulled out some friends amongst the governors of PDP, and people generally attribute part of the problems responsible for PDP's defeat to the split in the rank and file of the PDP, orchestrated by NYESOME WIKE. Having said that, the various mechanics within the PDP that should have ordinarily taken some measures didn't take such measures. And that is why we are where we are today. Some people say some disciplinary actions should have been taken. Some say that some persons should have been expelled from the party. Some say that they should have been suspended from the party. Again, that is not an issue here. Quite frankly, that is not an issue here. Yes, WIKE said that he was not going to support the candidate of the PDP. And PDP lost.
Even in 2027, he said he still...
Sorry?
He has even said in 2027...
In 2027, he will do the same thing.
Exactly.
I agree. I'm coming there. People say that if they all cries in the night, and ATIKU lost election, therefore it was... that may not essentially play out as straight-jacketed as people are pointing out. Independents came out openly to say, hey, we are not going to vote for Donald Trump of the Republican Party. Some members of the Democratic Party also went out of their way to say, we are not going to vote for the Democratic Party. In Nigeria, they call it anti-party.
Yes.
In Nigeria, they say you must expire. You must send away. But what have you heard? Since the election in America on November 5th, what have you heard about the party vis-a-vis those Republicans who refuse to support the Republican candidate? Has anybody talked about it? Nigerians make issues out of nothing. The issue before us right now is that we lost the 2023 election. What do we do not to lose election again? That is the issue. It is not about whether WIKE should have been disciplined, WIKE should be expelled from the party and the rest of them. That is not the issue. That will not make us win elections subsequently. Are we sitting down to reflect on why we lost the election and strategize towards winning the election? We're not doing that. Instead, we are busy talking about whether Damagun should go or Damagun should not go. That is where Nigerians or PDP members, some PDP members, are concentrating their energy. It won't help us win elections. No. What do we do to win election? Is that whether Damagun is staying to act out the period? After all, who put Damagun there? The Constitution, the neck. Where were they? Where did they put their thinking caps when they were taking these decisions? And having taken those decisions, why are they finding it very difficult to live with their decisions and chart the way forward? The same neck or members that are complaining now were there when Damagun tabled a set of activities, timetable of activities for the party that will end in April next year. They were there. And he has started world congresses, local government congresses, state congresses. The last leg in the circumstances is zonal congresses. And then from April to October, we begin to plan for the national convention. What's the big deal? Not lose sight or lose focus of what we're supposed to be doing and chasing shadows and then leaving undone what we should do. So if I were to advise the PDP and members, I would say concentrate on drawing up strategies for winning election in 2027.
But then some people feel like WIKE is one of the pillars of your democratic, your political party. So
there are certain things that I wouldn't want to say here. I say, where will the concentration on the character of WIKE and his duty, where will it take us to?
So with or without him, the PDP will win the election and
of course, PDP can win elections without WIKE. Why not? Okay, hypothetically, and I don't wish him that, if WIKE drops dead today, PDP will die?
No, definitely no.
Huh? So what is all this use and cry? If anybody thinks that WIKE is dominating the PDP too much because he's contributing money or is using money to, bring out money and come and outdo him. You know? But I can assure you that there are many individual Nigerians today that do not care whether money is involved or money is not involved.
Let's talk about the expression of your core party member and the national representative, Honorable King Guchinyere Ikenga. The expulsion has been nullified. It was expelled due to misconduct and anti-party. But in this, what does the constitution, or rather, what level of, how does your constitution define the action by state chapters, and how significant was it, or because it's been nullified?
Let me say this straight away. The constitution is very clear. Members
the word local government and state chapters don't have power of discipline. And so those offices include the president, the vice president, the governor, the deputy governor, National Assembly members. It's only the National Working Committee and the NEC that can take disciplinary action against these categories of persons. So if the Imo State chapter or the Idiato Federal Constituency chapter of the party took any action against Goshinyere as in terms of discipline, no matter how grievous his activities could have been, then that'd be an issue. Those actions are null and void because they do not conform to the constitution of the party.
Even when it has to do with anti-party?
Well, I'm telling you, whether it is anti-party or not anti-party, you cannot determine it at the state level. You cannot determine it at the local government level. The constitution is very clear. Only the National Executive Council of the party can discipline members of the National Assembly, can discipline governors, can discipline deputy governors, can discipline president, can discipline vice president. Any other organ outside that purporting to discipline these officers is exercising the power that it doesn't have.
Okay. Thank you so much, Moro, for speaking with us this evening. It's been wonderful having you join us on the program. Thank you so much. And like I said, distinguished Senator Bamoro is the senator representing the good people of Benue South Senatorial District and the Senate Minority Leader. Thank you very much for sparing your time to speak with us on this program. And keep watching Captain Television until we come your way some other time. I am Missy Emelite. Have yourself the best of evening.
Thank you very much.